Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Election, a Hong Kong crime drama thriller from 2005 that was directed by Johnnie To. Now I've reviewed a bunch of To's movies on this channel, but I'm long overdue to review his Election films because both are considered to be among the best of his entire filmography. Now this movie is essentially about a triad society of gangsters that has a very long history and a very unique process to determine its leader, an election. Now on the one hand, we have a man named Lok, played by Simon Yam, who represents the cool and calm side of gangster business tactics. He prefers to focus on non-violent, non-risky revenue generation that will provide steady profits for his term in office. He's also very friendly to the elders in the triad, which is important because remember, this election isn't a public election, it's only an election within the gangster group. On the other hand, we have Big D, played by Leung Ka-fai, who represents a more brash and aggressive version of gangster business tactics. He might be able to generate more money, but it's more of a risky proposition. So who will win this election to run the triad for the next few years? You'll have to watch the movie to find that out. Now, one of the most interesting aspects about election is seeing how this election system differs from the traditional family model that we see in most gangster films, especially from the West. In most films of this kind, power is typically passed from father to son, unless a rival murders or drives the family out of power entirely. And we saw a little bit of that conflict in, like, The Godfather, for instance. But that's not the case here. The length of the leadership term in election is fairly short, and since this is an election format, there is some campaigning involved within the triad to try to get the more important triad members to vote a certain way. So our runners kind of try to manipulate the system and get some people on their side during their campaigning period. And in some cases, campaigning involves blackmail. And then on top of the election structure to it, we have a ceremonial baton, an actual baton that they have that's over 100 years old. If you win the election, but you do not have the baton in your possession, be prepared to be disrespected and have your leadership questioned. You have to save face by getting that baton. So this baton emphasizes the value of tradition to the gang. There's even reference to, at one point, to like a group of monks from 300 years ago in Manchuria and how they connect to this triad society. They were like the seedlings of the society and stuff. So not only do you need to win the election, but you need to acquire the ceremonial baton. And much of the middle section of this film is spent on, Simon Yam and Leung Ka-fai attempting to find and or steal the baton from other people, which is a lot of fun to watch. But do not go into this film expecting an action flick. It's not what this movie is. There are some good violent scuffles along the way, but there really are no traditional action set pieces in this film at all. But that doesn't stop Johnnie To from making an interesting and exciting film. If you've seen Running Out of Time, that really didn't have too many traditional action set pieces in it, but it was still fun and briskly paced. And that's kind of how Election is, although it's a little bit more of a drama than a suspense thriller. Johnnie To has a certain directorial prowess that makes that work. That's what makes him so special as a director. There are a lot of cultural elements to enjoy in this film as well, such as rituals and oaths related to the election ceremony that also help to differentiate this film from other gangster movies. And similar to some of To's other films, the music is distinctive and catchy. It hits you right at the start of the film as well. Even the opening scene, the music hits you, kind of gets you in the mood. The cast, it's a Johnnie To film. It's a fantastic cast. You get Simon Yam, Leung Ka-fai, Cheung, Louis Koo, Lam Suet, and Gordon Lam. It's kind of ridiculous. And the cool thing is that you're not exactly sure which characters are going to help each other and which characters will betray their supposed comrades. So it's fun to see that dynamic play out throughout the film. The one criticism I might have of this film is that there are a few scenes where it's kind of tough to figure out who's working for whom. There's one scene like right in the middle at nighttime on a street. And after my recent viewing, I was still a little confused as to who was working for who in that scene. You know, if you've seen Johnnie To's films, you know he hates verbal exposition where people explain stuff. So you kind of got to put some pieces together yourself. I actually think this movie would benefit from watching it twice in a row or on consecutive nights so that you can kind of figure out a few of those little details that you might be confused about after one viewing. So Election, it's another solid film by Johnnie To. It's almost kind of a broken record. This director's made a lot of solid films. If you're exploring this director's filmography, you have to watch this, as well as its sequel. It's still available on Region 3 DVD with English subtitles. And next week I plan on reviewing Election 2, so look out for that one. A bit of a different film, but also very good. And as always, I'll see you next time.